Hello everyone, how's it going? It's your boy Skilled Fawn, and we're back doing some Demon Souls challenge runs. I always love playing Demon Souls. It's one of my favorite of the Soulsborns. You know, it's very simple. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, let's waste no time and get into the rules. So for this challenge run, the rules are gonna be no healing items. This is like grasses, any rings like the regenerator ring, stuff like that. I can use things that cure status effects like poison. That's fine because I'm not gaining health, but I can't gain health from consumables or rings, stuff like that. And then I can level up my vigor and health. That's okay since I'm not restoring HP. And then I must defeat all the bosses and beat the game. And lastly is glitches and or exploits are allowed. And the music is the Demon Souls Nexus song. If any of you guys are interested. So yeah, let's waste no time and jump straight on into the run. Alright, so we are at the gates of Boletaria. This is the starting area. And we do pick up some grass, but every time I pick it up, I'm just gonna take it out of my inventory slots. And the first ring we're gonna get is the Cling Ring. This is gonna give us more health at in soul form, but this is okay because I'm not, regenning health. And we're gonna head into Phalanx. This is the first boss, and it's very easy boss. You just pretty much need to have a crap ton of fire bombs. You'll be good. I mean, obviously you can fight Phalanx any other way, but fire bombs is just the easiest. And yeah, we get the first boss down. Nothing too crazy yet, and we're gonna keep on progressing. But when I do get my full body back after killing a boss, I'm gonna head on over to the Nexus and kill myself in the game. This will allow me to go back to soul form. And if you're in your regular body form and you die in the world, then your world will slowly turn black. And then if you keep killing the bosses in the area and destroying the phantoms and other things, then your world will slowly go towards white. And if your world's in white, then you'll take less damage. And I'm not sure if you deal more damage, but I know you take less. And then the inverse is with the black world tendency, where if it's black, then you'll take more damage. That's something we're not really trying to go for, especially in a no healing run. We're going to head on into the first boss of Latria. One of the reasons why I did want to come here was for the clever rat ring, but also just to progress this area. The next boss after Fool's Idol is very tough, similar to Flame Lurker's toughness. So yeah, I died a decent amount on this boss fight. I was just not really being slow. I was being really impatient. Um, so I just came up with a new strategy of just killing every single one of the ads. Cause you saw in that last clip, one of them slapped me, which doesn't happen super often, but when it does, it's quite annoying. But yeah, we're just gonna keep on hitting her, trying to get her as weak as possible. The nice thing though is I am the sorcerer build, so I'm able to get a little bit of range damage, and this is helpful especially for her fight because there's a bunch of her clones that can spawn. We're just gonna pop in and out of the columns and get the kill, and yeah, that means we can progress onwards, but we're gonna head on over to the Shrine of Storms. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come here was for one of the merchants. He is very useful, has good items. Um, because at least one of the bosses in one of the later archstones is boss that I just pretty much want to use a bow for. Um, Especially low HP, it's not really viable to go attack Maiden Astraea slash Garl Vinland. And also, yeah, the merchant has some nice poison kunai, always good for boss fights. The one thing after my consumable run, I highly recommend if you ever fight Storm King or Old Hero, you should try and poison them. And Penetrator too. They're very weak to poison. Yeah, we're gonna pick up some arrows and then the poison kunai can be a massive game changer. And then we are gonna head on over to the Old Hero, but not before, farming a little bit. This is the best spot in the game. Once you kill this Reaper, it basically kills all of the guys around him. You just get like all their souls, which is really, really nice. And yeah, it's about like 4K, so very worthwhile. And also, one thing I figured and remember too was just how much health Old Hero has. He is a bit of a tanky lad, and so we're gonna use the clever rat ring to get ourselves a little bit more damage. But one thing, especially for his fight, is it's a bit harder with a range build, just because whenever you do attack him with range, his aggro is a bit longer because you're attacking him from further away, so he'll run like the whole distance. But usually, if you're melee with the thief ring, it's just really nice. But we're gonna just do like a combination of the two, melee and using the bow. And yeah, I mean the fire and the resin and the sticky uh whatever stuff that's you put on your weapon for magic damage is very useful for this fight. Especially, early game, that's just what you need. A little bit extra damage. Especially until we get the weapon I'm looking for, which is the Dragon Longsword. Is one of my favorite weapons in the game. Just the longsword, but with a dragon upgrade on it. Very early game, good weapon. There's a ton of weapons in this game that come +1 that are like have really good infusions on them. Um, yeah, you'll see me grab that later, but we're gonna head on into Storm King, and like I mentioned before, I'm going to be poisoning him for it just because it is very useful. Uh, like you see that because the thing is, whenever Storm King does attack, he'll do like a pass by just like this, and then he'll float around for a bit and not come by for another little bit. So it's just nice to get that poison damage because the time that he comes back for another attack, he'll have like 150 damage ish, which is about the same as one of these attacks with the weapon. But yeah, Storm King is such a cool boss fight. One of my favorites. But he doesn't have all that much HP. Which is nice, I guess. It's a very quick fight. And yeah, next we're going to head on into the smithing grounds. This is very useful because I can upgrade my weapon a lot easier here. And, take out the bosses in this area. So you see I'm using the flame shield. This is very good if you're in this world. It just protects you from a lot of the flame attacks. And I was using flaming arrows to hit armor spider at first, which was not a very good idea. But, we're just gonna eventually take it down. No problem. Though we did have about half health, so it can be a bit scary at times. But yeah, let's go and grab my favorite weapon in the game. Yeah, once we have our weapon, we're going to start upgrading it a bit. And then we're going to head on into Flame Lurker, though we're not going to be using that weapon. We're going to be doing the magic strat, which is definitely something I recommend if you're going to do no healing. You definitely can fight him, melee at this health, but, we're going to take it the much safer route. And if you do it this way, it is going to take a little bit longer just because, you're going to be running around and having to find the right openings. But, you'll eventually get them down. And, you do a decent amount of damage whenever you do attack. One nice thing about, I think it's called the Crisp Blade, is it increases your damage. It also helps to be somewhat decent at hip firing it. But yeah, Flame Lurker goes down. Definitely the scariest boss in the game. Maybe like Old King Lant is either first or second, right up there with him. But yeah, we're gonna upgrade the Dragon Longsword one more time to get it to +4. And I could get it up to +5 if I want to, but +4 is really, really good just by itself, so don't really have to worry too much. And yeah, one thing with Dragon God I was a bit worried about was just once you get to his lower level, his flame attacks can be a bit tough, especially the last obstacle. You have to run a decent bit to hit it so he can do his flame attack pretty frequently in that position. So yeah, I just wanted to have a little bit more fire defense, and also I didn't jump off in the Nexus just because I I want to have as much health as possible for this part. So if I did keep dying, I probably would jump into the Nexus just so I don't get this to black tendency, just because I don't want to take more damage than needed. Yeah, we're gonna fire both of the arrows, and we'll get Dragon God to come down. We'll go fight his chin. And yeah, it's definitely a lot different, like a no healing slash consumables compared to like SL1+0. It's so funny. Yeah, I'm just gonna basically wait out for his like fire breath and then just get a couple hits in, just so I do play it as safe as possible. And yeah, Dragon God does go down. So this means that, we have Archdemon Soul, another one, 'cause Storm King was one. We're gonna head back into Latria so we can progress there. I don't like going to the Depraved Chasm early on. I prefer going there late. So for this zone, you gotta take down these chains. There's this like massive heart creature thing that's blocking going up the tower. And then, once it falls down, you actually can go fight the boss. And so, yeah, we get both these chains to come down, and we're going to head on over to Man-Eater. Man-Eater and Flame Lurker, they are the toughest, but I do have to say they are my favorite boss fights just because they are very tough, and you can cheese the crap out of them if you know how. Both do involve the Thief Ring, but it is just such a funny glitch. With Flame Lurker's case, if you stand like right when you come into his arena, when he's not in his phase 2, he will like sometimes not see where you're at, so then he'll just go back to his starting position and get a few hits with like sorcery or use the kunai. But yeah, one hit to Maneater is like giving him like 9/10 health left, which is insane. This weapon is very good, especially with the clever rat ring. Just does insane damage. So at this point, though, I know that the second man-eater is gonna come when he's roughly at like about half health slash like you can tell with the music too. But yeah, once he spawns in, I'm gonna stand in this area and wait for him to come down. Sometimes you have to come out a little bit because he won't notice you there. But once you move out and he notices you, it'll just be a 1v1 fight pretty much until you're done with the first guy. And like, oh my gosh, look at that damage. That is insane. I highly recommend if you haven't used this weapon slash infusion to try it. It's so fun. Yeah, we're gonna take down the second one. Just always easier having one boss fight versus, fighting two. Especially, that's one thing in Elden Ring, Godskin Duo I recommend is not, you can trying to fight them at the same time. Just take down one, then the other. But yeah, Man-Eater goes down, so we have one boss left in Latria, which is the Archdemon, and that is the Old Monk. We're gonna head on into his boss fight. And Old Monk is still like one of my favorites. I definitely think like Old King Allant, Flame Lurker, and Man-Eater are like my top three, but I do really like Old Monk just for this cutscene. I think it's just so cool. Um, and the fact that, if you're playing online, you can invade someone when you're in this world and become the boss. Like, that's just so cool. Hopefully, I mean, in the Shadows of the Erdtree DLC, it's a very far stretch, but I would love to see something like this again. I'm not sure, how practical it is because, you know, when you do fight the boss, like offline is the most or not the most laughable, but it is pretty laughable. The one move that this boss does have that is quite deadly is it can do this like sorcery blast, and my SL1 plus 0, and even SL1, it just messed me up because it does so much damage. It basically kills you every time. But luckily we do have the health to at least take one, possibly two hits. But we're not gonna test the waters. We need to. Yeah, the only way I would suggest testing it is if I need the clever rat ring. Yeah, we take down Old Monk. We get another Archdemon, and we're gonna head on into the Depraved Chasm. And there's gonna be three bosses here, like the other areas. We got Leechmonger, and then the Dirty Colossus, and then lastly is Maiden Astraea and Garl Vinland. And as I mentioned, if I have the choice, I'm gonna fight Maiden Astraea with a bow. It does take quite a long time, but it is just like the safest option. You're not gonna like die over and over, especially with these challenge run parameters. So with this boss fight, um, you definitely can, with any boss, besides Storm King, fight them like, or well, I mean you can use the weapon, but you're supposed to uh fight him melee, but you could, fight him sorcery or range, and that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, if you just stand here, or at least this is a spot that I found, you get really good damage. You don't get hit as often, though as you saw there, I did get hit. So I decided let's just use the bow. This is a bit safer, because I'm able to shoot through the crack. With the actual sorcery, I would have to like lean over a little bit more, and that can get me killed. And so yeah, we take down Leechmonger. He did heal quite a bit, so it took a little bit longer, but no worries. Yeah, we're gonna head on into the boss fight, and at first I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. Um, So I decided to go into the water and then attack. But then I don't know why I didn't think of it, but yeah, this water in here is also poison, just like the area out there. Um, and yeah, I did not have the damage that I was really looking for. I thought it was gonna be a bit higher, just so I could take him down this way. But we're gonna go for the melee route, just because this melee weapon does have insane damage. And so yeah, we're just gonna take him out this way. The boss fights in this area are weaker to fire, I believe. So we are gonna get that bonus damage. At least the first two bosses, I believe. I'm not sure about Maiden Estraya, but yeah, definitely watch out for those swings because they can mess you up. They have a very big lingering hitbox. So yeah, Dirty Colossus goes down. Pretty quick fight, and now I was worried because those insects that he does shoot can mess you up and drain your health. But you know, we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna prevail and head on into Maiden Estraya. And yeah, you can see that she's like down in this little nook. She's all tucked away. And yeah, that's why this boss fight can just be quite difficult because you have to kill Garl Vinland pretty much if you want to, you know, do melee build. But yeah, we're gonna completely bypass that. It is gonna take slightly longer, but you know, we we want to do the most safe thing that'll get the results. And yeah, sure, I could probably parry him, and like I wouldn't actually do a ton of damage, but you know, we're gonna be safe. And so yeah, if you go to the left, that is another way down. You could go down the middle too, like down that little drop off. But there's a ton of these like toxic babies in there. Or well, they give you the plague, not toxic. I don't think toxic's DS1. Um, but yeah, they can give you the plague in this, which is basically like toxic or scarlet rot. It just uh, does a ton of tick damage and lasts a long time. Yeah, we're gonna take down Maiden Estrella. Carl Vinland now knows that I'm going for the ranged option. And yeah, I'll save you guys the trouble. I'll speed this up. But yeah, at first I was using the fire arrows, and I was like, all right, this is terrible damage. Like, I knew this was going to take a long time, but all right, let's switch this out for the holy. And the holy arrows definitely do more damage. That's something I recommend if you're going to fight her like this. Um, and yeah, hopefully I'll remember that for next time just so it speeds things up. But yeah, another archdemon down. We pretty much have all the worlds done at this point besides the very first world. So we're going to head back there. And this is the bridge after the first boss, Phalanx. And we're going to see this giant dragon or drake come down. And so yeah, the next boss is he's he's not the coolest, but he just has like the coolest boss intro ever, especially with the music. It just goes absolutely hard. But yeah, we're gonna see a ton of these archers on the side, and then the main boss. Pretty much, you're supposed to go to the side and then take out the archers. Definitely don't have to, but and you know, because I have a bow, I don't necessarily have to, but figured, you know, since we have such a good weapon and this is like a decently early game boss, you know, we're gonna have insane damage. Um, And yeah, another thing that I picked up on my consumables run is those guys can be poisoned just from one hit. So it's very nice. You can just throw the dagger at them and then just run away and let them die. But yeah, we're going to take down and hit him, preferably in the legs, just because once you hit him enough, he'll be knocked down. And yeah, you'll see the insane damage that we do when he's knocked down. It's like absurd. I think once he's knocked down, I just take 2 hits and then he's completely destroyed. Uh, but yeah, also kind of funny. I got absolutely slapped by his shield. And yeah, 660 damage. That is like insane. Obviously, it's on his head, but you know, like any boss like that where you can just kill quickly is such a fun experience. And yeah, another really cool boss fight coming up. We got Penetrator. And I did mention when I was in the Shrine of Storms that I recommend you poison Penetrator. I believe it's 2 or 3 of the poison kunai until it actually poisons him. You're gonna get really good, benefit from that. Because I mean, like even if you're doing a melee versus or like a range, just anything that slowly ticks down the like enemy's health is just very nice. I did have a massive misplay there, and I was not expecting him to lunge at me, but he did. But yeah, it looks like it's gonna be 3 hits. And once you do get that third one, you get him poisoned. And yeah, that definitely one thing with Penetrator is you do not want to be grabbed. That is going to absolutely destroy your health, even if you have a ton of HP. But I do really like his move set. It's so cool. And you can bait his attacks really easily. But that attack right there can throw you a bit off guard if you're not prepared, just because it does kind of look like a few other of his attacks. You just don't want to roll too early or too late. And yeah, eventually we get Penetrator down. You can just see how effective the poison daggers were. Not, like crazy, crazy damage, but, it definitely helps out in the fight. Makes it a bit shorter. And so, yeah, we're going to head on into one of the last bosses in the game, arguably the hardest. You could definitely put Flame Lurker, possibly Maneater up there, though I definitely think Flame Lurker is tougher than Maneater. But yeah, Flame Lurker, Old King Allant, they're neck and neck. I would, consider Old King Allant harder just because he definitely has more health. It's meant to be the final boss. Uh, but yeah, I mean, you can poison him, which is what I'm gonna do, just because he has a ton of HP. It would just be very nice for when I'm not attacking him. Because my strategy is I do not want to be close to him. He has way too many attacks that are very quick and very punishing. So yeah, we're gonna play it quite safe. I mean, we are gonna do a melee, build. We're not gonna use the bow. Similar to like old hero, I just don't like doing ranged on them as much, just because they can be a bit glitchy. And yeah, right here I was a bit scared. I was just like, all right, let's just go for the throwing knife hit, just so I do not get blasted by that. And yeah, eventually we do get Old King Allant down, and the PS5 thankfully lets me know my controller batteries are low. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna head on back into the Nexus, and we're gonna go see the old one and fight the final boss. And yeah, the final boss, if you haven't played Demon Souls, is a bit laughable, but it's mostly, you know, supposed to be like a lore-based boss, or like at least, just like trying to tell a story. Is not really the boss fight itself is not really, meant to be, extravagant at all. Just to really show like what actually happens if you fall through in this, scenario with the power of demons. It's not actually good. And yeah, we're gonna follow the maiden in black. We're gonna follow her down. And that's one question I'm gonna have to pose to you guys is which of like your or which of the games, the From Software games, is your favorite like firekeeper type role? Do you like the maiden in black? The uh firekeepers from the Dark Souls series, the doll from Bloodborne, Emma from Sekiro, what do you guys like? I definitely have to say Demon Souls, the Maiden in Black, is one of my favorites, but I do like Dark Souls 3 Firekeeper. In Elden Ring, I'm not you don't really talk to Melina all that much compared to like the other, Firekeepers. So, uh, she's definitely cool, but not my favorite. And yeah, we take down not Old King. We take down King Allant, and we're gonna head on into the ending now. And you can either kill the Maiden in Black and get the bad ending, or you can walk out and get the good ending. And I figured the last like 2 times we've done the bad ending, so we'll do the good ending now. We'll be the good guy. We're gonna look at the Maiden in Black one last time, say goodbye, and we're gonna head out. And yeah, that is pretty much the run completed. It was super fun and decently tough, especially, Flame Lurker, Old King Allant. All those types of bosses, you have to be very patient and, play very slow. But yeah, I greatly appreciate you guys watching. Definitely check out the other challenge runs on this channel. I've got a VODs channel that I post all the streams and the episodes for my challenge runs. So, if you guys would like to see the full length of this, go check that out. But we've got some more Elden Ring content coming, along with Dark Souls 3, Need for Speed, and some other games. In Elden Ring, we just recently completed a tools only run. It was one of the hardest runs I've done in the game. Definitely not as hard as RO1 plus 0, but up there for sure. And yeah, so expect that. We've got Dexterity coming, a Dex only run. And I also use one of the worst weapons in the game. But, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Maybe it's not the worst weapon. And yeah, Dark Souls 3, we got the daggers only. So expect that. But I do greatly appreciate you guys coming and watching the video. It means the world to me. I love seeing you guys in my streams and, helping me. So, thank you guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Do something nice for someone if you can. And skilled fawn out.